Hey guys, I'm Nikki Dinky. Welcome to my kitchen. You're gonna be very happy you joined me today because I am making my caramel apple pie. I find that around the holidays, I'm always kind of baking a little bit more. You know, there's more parties to go to, there's cookie exchanges. Well, one of the things I love to bring to a party is an apple pie, and this one's awesome. It's one of those things that's still pretty simple, but it's really got that wow factor. Whenever you bring in a beautifully brown and gorgeous apple pie to somebody, they're pretty excited. So stick with me, because whether you're making this apple pie or any apple pie this holiday season, I'm gonna make sure we give you some tips and techniques so they turn out great. So we are making some apple pie. Alright guys, so the most important ingredient in a caramel apple pie is, of course, our delicious apples. Now I've got a combination of apples here, but they're all really common ones you can definitely find at your grocery store. I have got some Golden Delicious, which is this yellow one. I've got some Granny Smiths, and I've got some Gala apples. Now the Golden Delicious and the Granny Smiths, you probably know, they're really good for baking. They really hold up well because they're nice and crisp and hard. The Gala isn't quite like that, but it's got a lot of flavor. And these ones to me are a little bit more mild. So what I like to do is get about 3/4 of my baking apples, a Granny Smith, a Golden Delicious, and then I throw in just a couple Galas, just to get a little bit more flavor throughout. So right here, I've got 7 apples. You're looking for 3 to 3.5 pounds of apples. Now I remember the first time I made an apple pie, I had some apples in the refrigerator and I had no idea how much I had. And sure enough, I'm going on my scale, weighing myself, holding the apples. You don't have to get that specific. You're looking for about 7 to 8 apples, even 6 to 8 apples, and 3 to 3.5 pounds. If you don't have exactly that much, if you have more or less, your seasonings are still going to be about the same. You're just going to have a little bit of a bigger pie or a little bit of a smaller pie. So don't make yourself crazy. Now what we're going to do is we're going to peel these beauties up and we're going to chop these into nice little 1/4 inch slices. So it's going to take me a minute. I'm going to get chopping. So my apples are all nice and cut up. I put plenty of lemon on them so they'll stay nice and white and not brown. And now we're gonna work on the caramel sauce. So I've got a small saucepan here. I just put in a cup of white sugar and 3 tablespoons of water. Now, the most important thing you can do in making a caramel sauce, and believe me, I've done it the wrong way and it doesn't turn out pretty, is you don't wanna stir this. You don't want to touch it, you don't want to shake it, don't do anything. Just leave it alone until it turns a nice caramel color. We're going to put it on about a medium heat, even medium low. We're going to let it start to bubble and boil, and eventually it's going to turn color, and when it does that, then we're going to add in some heavy cream so that we create a caramel sauce. But right now, all you're going to do is just watch it. Don't touch it, because if you stir it, there's a good chance that it's going to do this crazy thing where it goes from being a liquid and bubbling back into a solid, and you're wrecked and you gotta start over. So don't touch it. Well, my caramel sauce is working nicely. You can hear it bubbling and getting all caramelly. So now I wanna work on my apples. Now I've got all my apples here, and I'm just gonna add in a 1/4 cup of flour and a 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. The flour is going to make sure that we don't get a soupy apple pie. We want it to be really nice and held together and have more of a sauce than a soup. The cinnamon is just going to give us some really good flavor. A 1.5 teaspoons is a tiny bit heavy on the cinnamon because I really like cinnamon in my apple pie. If you're not as keen on that, or you want it to be more traditional, you might want to go with just 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. But all I'm going to do is toss it all together, make sure it's nice and incorporated, because before you know it, we're going to be filling our pie dough with this, our caramel, and we're done. have made a successful caramel sauce. Now, do not put your finger in there. You know I have a tendency to want to taste everything, especially hot molten sugar. And I've done that before with this exact sauce, even though I've done it multiple other times to know I shouldn't. It just smells so good, it's a little hard to resist. Now, before you put in that heavy cream, once it comes to that great caramel color, you want to make sure to turn off your heat, because it's really going to bubble up there for a second and you want your heat off. Once you stir it though and it comes back down, you can put it on a nice low flame. We're just going to let this sit here for a minute while we assemble everything, and I am going to add just a teaspoon of vanilla extract for a little extra flavor. Now, don't give me too much grief, but I am using a store-bought pie crust. It's one of those situations where I don't have a ton of time tonight, and I've kind of learned throughout the years that sometimes it's better to take a little bit of a shortcut than to make yourself stressed and crazy, because then you're not having any fun. And isn't the point to have fun in the kitchen? Yes. So I'm going to use a store-bought pie crust. Now, this is one that comes with a top and a bottom piece of dough, so you can put it right in your pie pan and then put one right over the top. Now all I'm going to do is take my great apple mixture, fill it up in here, drizzle that caramel all over the top, and then just put a little pass of butter, about a quarter cup of butter, just cubed around it so that it can kind of soak into there and get beautiful as it bakes. Cover that up and let's go. Is ready for the oven. Now I did put an egg wash on that. An egg wash is just 1 egg, 1 tablespoon of water, beat it up together and put it over really any bread or pastry or baked good. It creates this really beautiful dark brown crust. It's gonna look just like one of your favorite pies at your favorite pie shop. Gives it a really professional look, and hey, don't we want that? I also put over just another couple tablespoons of sugar on the top, just to give it a little texture and a little sweetness even to the top of the crust. And last but not least, I put some air vents in the top. That's not just for decoration, it's so that the steam can escape. Because really, everything in there is gonna start to bubble and come together, and we need there to be a place for steam to escape. So now he's gonna go into a 350 oven until he's golden, brown, and delicious. Just try and tell me that's not one of the most beautiful apple pies you've ever seen. Alright, well I made it, so I'm a little biased, but it's pretty darn beautiful. I love that the sugar created even an extra crust on top. You can see it's really hard and really crispy, which is such a great contrast to all those kind of mushy but still kind of crisp apples in there. I also love that I can see it bubbling through here. That really needs to be brought to a boil on the inside in order to do everything it needs to do to get the consistency we're looking for. So that's really good. Now, as desperate as I am to cut into this right now and have the whole pie by myself, I'm not gonna do it. It's really gotta sit for at least an hour to let everything set back up, or else you're gonna get a soupy, mushy mess. Now, people say about 4 hours is really recommended, so just think the longer the better, which is a great thing because you can make it the day before and it's still gonna be great. Now you can easily serve this at room temperature. If you like it really warm with some vanilla ice cream that kind of melts all over it like I do, you wanna put it back into an oven at about 325 for about 20 minutes. That's gonna get it just warm enough, but it's still gonna be really nice and set up, and the consistency is gonna be great. Well, I'm going to resist, and I'm gonna bring this to my party later, but let me tell you, it is a delicious caramel apple pie. So remember guys, always have fun in the kitchen. Happy holidays, and I'll see you guys next time.